In this video, we are going to cover a detailed summary of Ben Jonson's satirical comedy Volpone, explaining the complete story in a clear narrative style, so let's start. Volpone is set in Venice, a city famous for wealth, trade, and moral corruption. At the center of the story is Volpone, a rich and cunning man who pretends to be dangerously ill and close to death. Although he has no intention of dying, he enjoys watching greedy people humiliate themselves in the hope of inheriting his fortune. Volpone has no wife, no children, and no real friends, and this allows him to manipulate others freely. His greatest pleasure is not money itself, but the power money gives him over human weakness. Volpone's schemes are managed by his clever servant Mosca, whose name means fly, symbolizing how he feeds on corruption. Every morning, Volpone worships his gold as if it were a god, praising it for giving him control over other people. He then prepares to receive visitors who believe he is on his deathbed. These men bring expensive gifts, each hoping to be named Volpone's heir. The first of these is Voltore, a lawyer whose name means vulture. He brings a gold plate and pretends to be deeply concerned about Volpone's health, though his real interest lies in inheritance. Next comes Corbaccio, an old man whose name means raven. Corbaccio is so blinded by greed that Mosca convinces him to disinherit his own son Bonario in order to increase his chances of receiving Volpone's wealth. The third visitor is Corvino, a wealthy merchant whose name means crow. Corvino brings rare jewels and loudly boasts of his devotion, while secretly hoping for Volpone's death. Mosca skillfully manipulates each of these men, privately telling each one that he is Volpone's favorite and most likely heir. This keeps them competing with one another, offering increasingly valuable gifts. Volpone delights in this game and often disguises himself to observe the city and laugh at human foolishness. The plot grows darker when Mosca suggests an even more immoral scheme. Corvino has a beautiful and virtuous wife named Celia. Mosca convinces Corvino that the only way to ensure Volpone's recovery, and thus secure his inheritance, is to allow Celia to sleep with Volpone. Though Corvino initially resists, his greed overcomes his sense of honor. He cruelly forces Celia to visit Volpone, showing how wealth can destroy morality and human relationships. When Celia is brought to Volpone's house, Volpone abandons his pretense of sickness and tries to seduce her. Celia is horrified and resists him firmly. At this moment, Bonario, Corbaccio's disinherited son, happens to overhear what is happening. He rushes in to protect Celia and draws his sword. To save themselves, Volpone and Mosca pretend that Bonario is the aggressor who tried to assault Celia and attack Volpone. This false accusation leads to a courtroom trial. Voltore, using his skills as a lawyer, supports Volpone and Mosca with elaborate lies. Corbaccio and Corvino also give false testimony, each hoping that supporting Volpone will bring them closer to his fortune. Celia, innocent and powerless, is accused of immorality, while Bonario is accused of violence and dishonor. The judges, misled by eloquent speech and social status, believe the liars. Bonario is disowned, and Celia is sent away in disgrace. At this point, Volpone's success makes him reckless. He grows bored with the game and wants to enjoy its final stage. To create even more chaos, he spreads a false rumor that Volpone is dead. Disguised as a nobleman, he watches how the legacy hunters react. As expected, Voltore, Corbaccio, and Corvino rush to Mosca, each demanding confirmation that he is the rightful heir. Mosca sees an opportunity to improve his own position. He announces that Volpone has indeed died and that Mosca himself has been named the sole heir. The legacy hunters are shocked and furious, but Mosca mocks them openly, enjoying his sudden power. For the first time, the servant rises above his masters, revealing that greed can corrupt not only the rich, but also those who serve them. Volpone, watching all this in disguise, initially enjoys the confusion. However, he soon realizes that Mosca has gone too far and is threatening his control. When Mosca refuses to return Volpone's wealth, Volpone decides to reveal the truth. He appears in court and announces that he is alive, expecting applause for his clever trick. Instead, his confession leads to complete disaster. The judges are outraged by the deception and reopen the case. Under pressure, Mosca tries to deny everything, but the truth eventually comes out. Volpone's attempt to amuse himself has exposed a chain of corruption involving lies, greed, cruelty, and abuse of power. In the final judgment, justice is harsh but fitting. Volpone is stripped of all his wealth and sentenced to prison for life. Mosca, for betraying his master and abusing trust, is condemned to be whipped and sent to the galleys as a slave. Voltore is disbarred from practicing law. Corbaccio loses his property, which is returned to Bonario, correcting the earlier injustice. Corvino is publicly shamed and punished for prostituting his wife. Cilia is freed and sent to a convent, removed from the corrupt society that victimized her. The play ends with Volpone addressing the audience directly, warning them about greed and moral blindness. Volpone is not just a comedy, but a sharp satire that exposes how the desire for wealth can destroy reason, ethics, and human dignity. Through exaggerated characters and dark humor, Ben Jonson presents a world where money replaces morality and intelligence is used not for wisdom, but for exploitation. The story ultimately shows that although corruption may succeed for a time, it inevitably leads to ruin.